Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This is Charlie. Half of his breakfast always ends up on the floor. And he leaves fur everywhere. That's why I grabbed the Bissell Power Clean Fur Finder. It's cordless, powerful, and actually finds fur you don't even see. Learn more at Bissell.com.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
And good morning, Dominic Carter here with you. The story is still breaking as of this minute, so it's a fluid situation that is expected to change. The Providence, Rhode Island Police Chief Oscar Perez made the announcement at a press conference tonight, 5 full days into the department's frantic search for the suspected gunman. And so the Brown shooting suspect has been ID'd, revealed as an ex-classmate of the murdered MIT professor after he's found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Let's look at first how tonight started. This report from the Fox News Channel.
And a Fox News alert, 2 huge developments in the deadly Brown University shooting. We're going to get you caught up to speed. Providence police have the name of the person of interest they've been looking for, and there's a warrant out for the arrest. Police are also investigating a possible link between the shooting at Brown and the shooting death of an MIT professor at his home in Brookline, Massachusetts. That's only 1 hour away from Brown.
And so we now know that the two cases are definitely connected. And I think many of us with common sense suspected that they were connected all along. The Brown situation and the MIT professor murdered. 800-848-9222. Your time to sound off. And this is just one of several big stories that are breaking. In terms of, if you've been following the anti-Semitism that we have been reporting on, the NYPD, the 2 Jewish men that were attacked on the number 3 train, the NYPD has made an arrest in that case, Also, Mamdani, the mayor-elect of New York City, the socialist mayor, just 24 hours ago, he made 2 appointments. One was his appointments person in charge of hiring for the city coming into the administration. Well, she has been forced to resign less than 24 hours on the job because of all of her anti-Semitic posts have come back to bite her in the rear end. And the mayor-elect has been forced to accept her resignation. So a lot is going on at this hour. But I want you to listen to the FBI chief out of Boston declaring that there is a connection between the shooter that killed himself, Claudio Neves Valente, and the professor at MIT. They apparently went to school together in Portuguese, and this is what the FBI chief for Boston had to say.
Can you also tell us if there the connection? I know you said you can't talk too much about the MIT, but the fact that it was a physics professor at MIT and in the physics building and he was studying physics, have you tied all that up, and does that lead, why target one person in Massachusetts and then a whole class here in Providence?
Yes, it is true that Mr. Valente was a physics student. Also, we know that the MIT, the victim there, was in that discipline as well. I will tell you that there's multiple phases to an investigation, and so now in a sense that we know the subject is deceased, now that investigation continues to find out all of those answers to your question, sir.
Did you go to school with Professor? Did you go to school with Professor Luke Pelican Brown after that?
It is believed that in Lisbon that those two individuals attended the same university in Portugal.
And so the question becomes now, why Brown University? Why Brown? Why did this man shoot up, killing 2, injuring 9, Brown University? And of course, one of the big controversies, and even the Rhode Island Attorney General is declaring that he doesn't have an answer as to why this man chose Brown University. Perhaps this will all come out unknown as of right now, but these two men, the professor and the shooter, attended college years ago together. So then the question becomes, what's the extent of their relationship? As for the president of Brown University, I've been telling you folks this for days. Remember, she missed the initial news conference. So that means that she was either out of town or they were flying her back in a helicopter to get her back for the news conference. She made the second one. And it has been absolute a nightmare with this lady who is the president of the university. And reporters at the news conference tonight, they gave it to her, demanding that, and it might be a little hard to understand the question, but demanding, why won't she just admit that the cameras were not there in the location that was needed in the building in question?
Yeah.
Dan. President Paxton, Dan Jay from NBC 10. I want to go back to the question I asked you Saturday night when I first arrived on the scene. There were no cameras in this building. And law enforcement, some that are standing up behind you, have said if Brown had cameras in that part of the building, we would have gotten this guy. And it may have stopped this swirling action. Can you answer that question for me?
Well, I don't think we have said the locations of cameras at Brown. We
but
have
there's no cameras in that building because why would they take it from a rental car agency?
We have 1,200 cameras at Brown.
But not in that building.
We have some in that building. It's a large complex. And I think what you would see is the video evidence in this case, from my perspective, I'm not a law enforcement agent, has been incredibly helpful. The moving of the person around the neighborhood, those video images, they help crack this case. So I think video was important. And as the Attorney General explained at a recent press conference, this individual was not spending his time on the Brown campus. He came into a building on the edge of the campus. He left. He was in the neighborhoods. The investigation focused on the neighborhoods. The video was there. And that was really, really instrumental in cracking the case. But you can ask them.
And this is my follow-up, Madam President, if you'd say at the podium. Yes, video played a big role in this case. The neighbor's video, the rental car video, but not the video from the building that he walked in freely both before when he got in a confrontation and when he came back in and decided to kill people. You didn't have cameras in that building. Just say it so we can get this over. And my next question is, will you put cameras in the building? Will there be more cameras in that building?
Yeah, you know, I think we need to look back. We'll look at everything that is done, but I do not think a lack of cameras in that building it had anything to do with what happened there. Right. And we will go forward. Thank you.
Tom Quillo, WPRO.
President is in La La Land. If you can get cameras from the car rental company, that helps crack the case. If you can get cameras from neighbors that shows the guy walking by, anything that helped witnesses in this case to help the authorities to crack this case, of course cameras play a major role. And all I can say is I wouldn't even waste my resources in terms of legal representation if I'm Brown University. I would just cut whatever the amount is, a $10 million check for each deceased family, two members there. If $10 million is acceptable, it may be too low. And for each person that's injured, you might as well cut the check for $1 million to $2 million and not even waste your time trying to fight it. Because the first thing any good lawyer is going to say, it doesn't matter that you have 1,200 cameras on campus. The place where the shooting occurred, there was no video evidence that could help the authorities crack this case. Were they the Keystone Cops? Were they whatever term you want to use to mock them? Yes, absolutely they were. But we have to be fair to them. If there's no video evidence, what can we expect for them to do? We're taking your calls on this topic, 800-848-9222. Let's go to Norman, line 1 in Brooklyn. Norman, what's on your mind?
Hey, Dominic, listen, I was going to call because I want to make a bet with you. These murders, I'm not laughing about these murders. This is related to some kind of lover thing,
Norman. I'll triple the bet that somehow there's some romantic involvement involving lovers. I don't want to. The MIT professor was murdered, but something doesn't add up. This doesn't pass the smell test.
Murky.
Something is rotten in Denmark. This sounds like a lover situation where this man remembered all these years later.
Yeah, there's something. This is not terrorism. This is some kind of personal stuff going on there.
My first inclination was that it was a copycat to the Boston bombers. If you recall, in that case at the marathon, where they were on the loose for several days, and then the campus officer unfortunately was murdered by them, and I thought it might be somewhat of a similar copycat to that, right? But this guy clearly had. But and we're all just speculating. But why Brown? Why do you think Brown University?
Well, it's college. That's he went there, didn't he?
Well, that's what they said initially. But the FBI stating tonight that these two were the shooter and the MIT professor. They went to college together years ago, and it wasn't at Brown. So it was in Portugal. So
yeah,
I don't exactly.
Sex. This is sex.
This is sex in your opinion?
This is sex is involved. This is a sex thing. This whole murder thing is sex. Trust me. It's going to come out. You'll see.
Well, the one thing that I can say, Norman, if people think that these things only happen in a man and woman relationship, think again. They happen in gay relationships. They happen in woman relationships.
Yeah.
We've had an NYPD cop that lost everything, striking out at her lover and her new lover, the partner's lover. It happens among men too. Feelings are feelings. Right. And
right.
But I'm trying to remember. I don't remember what year these two were went together in terms of college. Now, again, this is pure speculation.
Speculation.
Right, but to snap like this, and why would you target this one professor? Right? So I went to college and at grad school at Syracuse. And the two students that were expected to make it is me and someone that all of you know. You may not remember his name, but his name is Mike Tirico. Mike Tirico is the lead newscaster, sportscaster, Olympics person, golf person, NFL person for NBC. And
I do remember Mike Tirico.
Yeah, Mike Tirico, he's the hottest thing smoking now. And and he and I were both one-time students at Syracuse University. But we knew each other. We were competitive with each other, but there was no romantic involvement, amongst us, But these things happen. Norman, thank you for the call. Folks, we're getting your reaction to the situation of what occurred just this evening. The case has been blown open in terms of Providence and the professor at MIT. The number to reach me right now, Dominic Carter, 800-848-9222. We are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This shrimp and coconut sauce is divine. What's your secret?
Goya coconut milk.
How does it taste so good?
It's all in that real coconut flavor and that rich, creamy texture.
What about thickeners and added sugars?
None. Just smooth, coconutty goodness.
What can I make with it?
From curries to sweet treats like coconut flan, the possibilities are endless.
Goya coconut milk. Take your cooking to the next level. No question about it. Find it in the Goya section of your local grocery store. If it's Goya, it has to be good.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. So Netflix is basically Santa this year. 2 NFL games on Christmas Day, streaming live. At 1 p.m. Eastern, it's Cowboys, Commanders. Then at 4:30, you've got Lions, Vikings. Midwest football, playoff stakes, and probably some snow. Watching holiday football is a tradition the whole family can enjoy. Open some gifts, grab some food, settle in, and watch NFL Live on Netflix this Christmas Day.
Adobe Acrobat Studio, so brand new. Show me all the things PDFs can do. Do your work with ease and speed. PDF Spaces is all you need. Do hours of research in an instant with key insights from an AI assistant. Pick a template with a click. Now your prezzo looks super slick. Close that deal? Yeah, you won. Do that, doing that, did that, done. Now you can do that with Acrobat. Now you can do that with the all-new Acrobat. It's time to do your best work with the all-new Adobe Acrobat Studio.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana lets you buy your next car on your terms. Explore a massive inventory online, filter for what matters, and find your perfect match. Then choose delivery to your home or pick it up at one of Carvana's iconic car vending machines. Every car also comes with a 7-day money-back guarantee, so you can make sure it's the right fit. Buy your car on Carvana. Delivery or pickup fees may apply. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Carvana.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter. Breaking news.
And the situation out of Providence, Rhode Island, and also the MIT professor. Let's go back to your telephone calls, Valeria, line 5. Valeria, I got to tell you, and this is why I love you guys, you folks, because I was following your tweets tonight, and you were one of the first ones to say, quoting the people from New Hampshire, that the suspect had killed himself. And then I started watching the mannerisms of the police on hand, and they were in a stand-down position. And I said, you know what? Valeria is correct. Go right ahead.
Hey, Dominic, thank you for taking my call, and early Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Same to you as well.
A long history with Brown University. A lot of my doctors, since I was a baby, were Brown educated. I worked up near Brown when I was a teenager. I've walked those streets thousands of times growing up in Rhode Island. And I'm going to tell you, from everything I've learned, the Claudio killer, if it's him, the Portuguese guy, 48 years old or older, he went to Brown in the PhD program for physics back in 2000, 2001, and dropped out. He may have flunked out. Before that, he was in college with Professor Nuno, who's got a teaching position at MIT, which means you have to be brilliant.
Absolutely.
Number one, to get into MIT, and to get a teaching position there, you have to be 10 times more brilliant. So I'm thinking, this dirty bastard, pardon my language, but he's hung around the United States since 2000. He got his green card in 2017. He was living down in Miami. I checked out the building that he was living in. It wasn't a cheap building. And then I think he was just outraged that he couldn't get his PhD, and he was jealous. So he takes it out on the young girl and the other classmates where they were studying for their physics final. And then a couple of days later, because the dingbats running Brown University removed cameras from that one hall. They call it a hall. It's a building. And because the illegals that run Providence now and the Palestinians that have a big voice at Brown University, told the president and the security team there, get rid of a lot of these cameras. So he gets away with killing this young girl, this other young man. One's a Christian, one is a Muslim that he kills. He injures other students, and then he gets out, and there's no cameras on him. He makes his way up to MIT, which is about an hour's drive away. He probably stalks the professor, kills the professor, and then where do you go to hide out? You don't hide out near the scene. You go another 45 minutes to 2 hours, depending on, where you are in New Hampshire.
Wait, Valeria, is it possible you can hold for a few minutes? I've got to take a break. I want to come back to you. Is it possible?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. We're going to do exactly that. We are coming right back on this very busy news night.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
How do I do it all during the holidays? 4 words. Shipped same day delivery. With Shipped, I can order groceries from Albertsons, decor from Michael's, even gifts for my furry friend from PetSmart. Plus, my personal shopper brings everything I need that same day. That makes it a breeze to decorate, get my shopping done, and make time for all the holiday parties. Do it all this holiday season with Shipped. Download the app or visit Shipped.com. That's SHIPT.com. Okay, only 10 more presents to wrap. You're almost at the finish line. But first... there, the last one. Enjoy a Coca-Cola for a pause that refreshes.
Rated E for everyone. Includes in-game purchases. Includes random items. EA Sports FC 26 is here. Play your way this holiday season with an overhauled gameplay experience powered by community feedback. Enjoy festive upgrades in Ultimate Team with winter wildcards. Take on holiday-themed challenges and manage your career, like navigating the busy Christmas period. And team up with friends and clubs with new tournaments and live events. The club is yours. Give the gift of football with EA Sports FC 26.
This episode is brought to you by McAfee.
I got a message that our flight was canceled. But they can put us on another flight, and we just need to confirm our credit card info.
Wait, I got a security alert from McAfee. It flagged that message as a scam.
McAfee's scam detector automatically spots and alerts you to suspicious texts, emails, and deepfake videos. Learn more at McAfee.com/online protection.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter. Breaking news.
And Providence police have identified a former Brown University student and Portuguese national, Claudio Neves Valente, as the suspect in Saturday's shooting at the Ivy League school. He was found dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound following a nearly week-long manhunt. The 48-year-old, a former physics student with a Miami address. And I was just chatting live with Valeria in Florida, line 5. Valeria, so you spent a lot of time in Rhode Island around Brown University. Please continue with what you were saying. You believe it's nothing to do with a possible romantic relationship, just plain old jealousy because he didn't make it?
Yes, that's what I think. But I want to stress an important fact. I was at Brown last year at a lecture, and there was a heavy Palestinian presence there. They were protesting for Gaza. Rhode Island and Providence, and especially Brown University, which has gone very radical left, is very pro-Gaza, very pro-Palestinian, and they were under pressure by the Palestinian groups and other groups that advocate for the illegal aliens that have flooded Rhode Island to get rid of a lot of cameras because they claim it interferes with free speech. But everybody knows it's because they don't want to help ICE. And that was brought up in the press conferences because a lot of people in the area, especially parents and students, were mad. And one of the reporters brought that to the attention to the Brown president and Nerona and the chief of police, the Colombian, Perez. So that was brought to their attention during the pressers during this week. Having said all that, I know the area very well. I'm a Rhode Island native. My doctors were up there. I worked up there. I've studied at Brown in the library when I was a lawyer. I've studied at the courthouse. I've worked at the courthouse, so I just know the area. Having said that, back in 2000, Claudio comes to the United States on a visa. He's in a PhD program at Brown. For some reason, he only makes it 1 year. He drops out or he flunks out. And then you fast forward to 2017, he gets his green card. He's living in Miami. Fast forward to Saturday, he kills a girl that he doesn't even know, and he kills a young man that he doesn't even know. But they were studying for a physics exam, and he had been in that class.
Okay, but wait,
many
I want to
times.
ask you a question. The fact that she was the vice president of the Republican Club, the campus Republican Club, that's a coincidence in your opinion?
Yes, because the young man that he killed was a Muslim.
Okay.
From the Uzbekistan area. So, and then he shot up other kids that were probably very, very, radically left. I mean, the Republican Club in Brown University has 20 members or less. That's all they have. It's been factually stated on Fox News by the best friend of the gal that was killed, who's a senior now.
Wow.
The gal that was killed was a sophomore. So they have 20 or less Republicans in the club. I personally know Brown alumni that were in the Republican Club when there was more people. Brown has gone very, very left ever since the Vietnam War when they allowed a lot of protesting there. And then it would go up and down as far as the radicals. Sometimes it would get very radical, sometimes it wouldn't. But their medical school program and their science program was always very rigorous, and they did not do anything. They didn't have anything to do with DEI in getting into the program. That started about 10 years ago, little by little. Now it's full force DEI to get into any of the hard sciences programs there. I would say half of the kids that are in the hard sciences there are there on DEI. The other half had to work there, work day and night, like the young gal from Alabama that was killed. So there's a lot of factors around Brown that made this situation worse than it is because they got rid of the cameras. The head of security there, the head of the police, see, Brown has its own police department, and I believe they're armed.
I believe they are as well.
The man that was the head of the police department, he was fired from his previous job because he wasn't qualified enough.
The current director.
The current head of the police department of Brown, not the Providence police, the Brown police.
Right, the Brown police.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And he got rid of the cameras under pressure because, like I said, they have a very big presence of, students for Gaza there. There's white students that have no Middle Eastern blood whatsoever, but because they're radically left, they're pro-Gaza. Because I was with them when I was at a lecture last year that had nothing to do with Gaza, but some of those kids came. They were very quiet, they were very polite, but they came to our lecture. It was a lecture on the Armenian genocide because every year it's commemorated, all over the world because it's the first genocide in modern history.
I understand your involvement with Brown and living in the area. I've been to the campus twice, and no offense, I didn't really like it because I didn't really get the sense of a campus, a quote-unquote campus, like a Syracuse, like a Cornell, like a Harvard. What I got was houses, then some across the street, buildings that clearly were part of a college, but there were no fences from the part of what I could see. And it just blended in completely with the community. And so, you know, you go across the street, boom, you're on Brown University's campus. Is that your recollection of the campus?
Yes, it is. And you have to be born and raised in Rhode Island to have an acquired love for it, especially somebody like me, where like my doctor, since I was a little girl, went to Brown and they converted some of these majestic old houses into doctor's offices where they're just drop dead gorgeous on the inside. So that's what Brown did. What they would, over the years, buy these majestic homes that were owned by, you know, the millionaires of the 1800s and 1900s. And they would convert them, some of them into dormitories, some of them into offices, some of them into study halls. And the other buildings that they built, they tried to keep the architecture of the area at Brown because that part of Rhode Island is so rich in history. That's where the absolute very first Baptist church was formed there by Roger Williams. I mean, we just have so much history in Rhode Island. It's a revolutionary state.
And that's why I think it's called Roger Williams Park, the big park in Providence.
Yes, it's named after Roger Williams, you know, who he broke the pilgrims that landed in Plymouth, Massachusetts. Some of them broke away and said, we're going to move to Rhode Island and we're going to start our own colony there. That's why it's called Providence Plantations. That had nothing to do with slavery. It was a plantation just for farming, and then industry came later. But it's very, very rich in history. So it does look like a mishigosh to other people that are used to, you know, very well-structured campuses.
Right.
But it's because they incorporated the beautiful buildings surrounding Brown, the big, they do have some big buildings there, but they use the other formerly private homes to incorporate offices, administrative offices, dormitories, and even classes are held there. And, you know, if you're brought up in that environment, it doesn't really bother you, and you learn to navigate everything at Brown very easily.
I just thought it was weird.
Yes, well, it has, like, you know, a charm from the 1700s, the 1800s, that a lot of people find very, you know, unique. They didn't grow up that way. And Brown did have an excellent reputation of putting out excellent doctors, you know, from back in the day. But so, I wouldn't say that now. Unfortunately, I wouldn't say that now.
Yeah, I just don't know about that college president. I mean, she didn't seem to know much.
Well, she's as dumb as a fox. She's part of the system. She's probably been a liberal all of her life, and slowly but surely, year after year of her life, she became very radicalized. And that's basically what they're looking for at Brown. I mean, they've just become very left-wing radical, and, you know, there's really nothing that can be done about it anymore. Until,
but I didn't get, and I'll let you go on this note, Valeria. But as you know, my daughter lives in Rhode Island, and I would say my daughter is left. I would say she's center left. But I don't get the feel that Rhode Island is far left. But at Brown, it's just, I mean, I'm not going to say it's hippie central. It's not that, but I don't know. And then I'm listening to the police chief. And I'm like, this has been going on for days. The man was giving me a headache because I couldn't understand a word that he was saying. And I don't know. And then I'm checking myself. I'm like, Dominic, you're a bigot. How could you say something like that? You know, support the Latino police commissioner. So I don't care if he's black, Latino, or woman, whatever. I need you to be articulate. And then I'm watching a news conference tonight. They do this from time to time where a Spanish-speaking official, the Spanish media, will say, can you say it in Spanish for their newscast? And I'm like, oh, this is just great. He's playing into another stereotype by answering the question in Spanish. But sometimes they do it, and I'm asking myself, and Valeria, another thing I'm saying to myself, wait a minute, the press corps in Rhode Island, they're not aggressive. They don't come after you like that. And so clearly these people have done something wrong, because even the press corps in Rhode Island is like, all over them. And so I don't know how to explain all of this.
Well, Dominic, I just want to make 2 points clear. For the past 20 years, Middle Eastern millions have been pouring into Brown. It's a very well-known fact in Rhode Island that a lot of Middle Easterners send their children there just to party, and they get diplomas. And that's one of the reasons why Brown now has $8 billion in its endowment fund. A lot of the money is from the Middle East. I've known people that went there from the Middle East. Personally, I knew them back in the day. They went there just to party, and they got their diploma. It's a well-known fact. Number two, the Providence Police Department has been taken over by the DEI radical left. That's why this guy, Perez, is the chief. He came to Rhode Island when he's 13 years old from Columbia, and he never learned English properly, and he just got pushed through the school system because that's what the Providence school system does, and then he got pushed through the college system because the colleges in Rhode Island are all left-wing as well. There's no conservative college like a Hillsdale College, in Rhode Island. Unfortunately, there's not. So, and then because there's so many Latinos living in Providence right now that they need Latinos on the police force to, help police the growing population of Latinos. So not only is his language, ridiculous, and he's pandering to the Spanish-speaking reporters, which he shouldn't have done. Number two, the biggest cloud around his head is his nephew. His nephew operated the biggest fentanyl ring in all of New England. And he claims he never knew about his nephew, and everybody in Rhode Island knows that that's bullcrap, because Rhode Island has always been a mafia state. It's always been controlled by the mafia and the Democrats, the dirty Democrats, and they were always in bed with each other. I grew up there. I've known it. I've known the mafioso personally.
But if your cousin or relative, that should have been a disqualifying factor right there alone. If your relative is a drug dealer, for you to say that you didn't know, that's just unacceptable. It's just unacceptable.
Exactly. His nephew. And Latina families are very close-knit. You don't tell me he didn't know.
Right. He had to know.
Of course he did. So we've had so much corruption in the state. I mean, the state was controlled by the mafia, Irish and Italian, for many, many years. Then the Latinos moved in, and they became a very tough force to be reckoned with. The Cape Verdean community is very tough. They're very big there now, too. But they're really hardworking people, and most of them, they stay out of trouble, and they become very well educated. I have a lot of friends at the Cape Verdean.
Valeria, thank you so much for giving me the lowdown on Rhode Island.
I love you, Dominic.
Love you, too. Really appreciate your time. Thank you so much, counselor, and the best hustler dancer, perhaps on the East Coast. So there you have it, folks. We're going to take a break. We see all of your telephone calls. We are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Rain-X wipers are the #1 wiper blades in America. That means all kinds of drivers choose Rain-X. Big drivers in small cars choose Rain-X. Small drivers in big cars choose Rain-X. Drivers with long hair and short commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with short hair and long commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with pets on board, babies on board, and bored babies on board choose Rain-X. Basically, drivers who love a clear view of the road all choose Rain-X wipers, the #1 wiper blades in America.
REI Co-op presents a perfect outdoor moment with the perfect gift. Picture this. You're ripping with your favorite person. Bluebird skies, blower powder, and frankly, you're skiing like legends.
So sick. Another lap?
Thanks to REI's curation, from lid to sticks, you nailed the gift.
No way. How'd you know?
Does it get more perfect than that? Give without guessing. Shop in store or visit REI.com.
Hi, it's Eva Longoria, and let's be real. After 40, we should ask for more from our skincare. I swear by Revitalift Triple Power Moisturizer by L'Oreal Paris. With vitamin C, pro-retinol, and hyaluronic acid, it reduces my wrinkles, firms, and brightens. And it's not a procedure. It's just a hard-working moisturizer.
Revitalift Triple Power Moisturizer by L'Oréal Paris. Grab it today in fragrance-free or with SPF 30. Available at your local Walmart.
¿Hablas español?
Sprichst du Deutsch?
Kann du noch?
If you used Babbel, you would. Babbel's conversation-based techniques teaches you useful words and phrases to get you speaking quickly about the things you actually talk about in the real world, with lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts and voiced by real native speakers. Babbel is like having a private tutor in your pocket. Start speaking with Babbel today. Get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription right now at babbel.com/Spotify. Spelled BABBEL.com/Spotify. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter. Breaking news.
And, folks, by now you've probably heard the news that the Providence police identified a former Brown University student and Portuguese national as the suspect in Saturday's shooting at the Ivy League school. He was found dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He and the murdered professor at MIT studied together years ago. Back to your telephone calls. Let's go to Mark, line 1, upstate New York. Mark, what's on your mind?
Yes, Dominic, this might seem out of left field, but my thoughts on this are, I know you've alluded to the sexual aspect, but I think it could be something else. Okay, these are very intellectually high functioning people. Okay,
well, wait. The MIT professor was highly functional, intellectual. The gunman flunked out after a little more than a semester. Flunked out. Normally, when you take a leave of absence, it's because of a health reason or because you're flunking out. And so I wouldn't refer to him that way, but maybe because he had to get in to begin with. But go ahead.
But my thoughts are, I don't know if this is, well, obviously it's not a thesis, but a stolen idea, a stolen thesis, something along those lines. For instance, as I mentioned.
But if it's a stolen idea, why did he shoot up Brown University? If it's a stolen idea, it would just be a grudge against the MIT professor when they were both students together.
That's true, but I'm just wondering if maybe he just went off. You know, it's like Ted Kaczynski. I mean, what I'm saying is most murders have a passionate or some aspect of that. I've never heard of anything that had anything to do with physics, and it makes me wonder, like, what that component is. But thank you, Dominic.
Fair enough, Mark. Thank you so much. Let's go to line 2, Lance in Delaware. Lance, what's on your mind?
I'm in Atlantic City in Galloway, but thanks, Dominic. Dominic, I just want to say you had the last 2 shows where you had a back-to-back with the same theme. That was awesome. That was like a sequel. And tonight, that woman that just gave that tremendous capsulized
Valeria, lawyer in Florida who grew up in Rhode Island and, she spent many years in Rhode Island and knows the community well as Brown University.
Well, I wanted to know also, it's just that when you, I guess, dummy down or just pollute the waters with the wrong ideology, I wouldn't say you get what you deserve, but to take away cameras in a college, that makes no sense.
None.
And it just goes to show you how much the sheep are leading the foxes out somewhere. But great 2 shows this past 2 nights, Dominic.
Thank
really.
you.
And listen,
Thank you.
I'm going to get that shirt. It's a Carter thing.
Okay, wonderful.
I tell you, man, it's excellent idea. Excellent shirt.
Thank you.
Really
you can go to my website, DominicCarterBooks.com.
Will do. That's my Christmas present to me.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Lance, and happy holidays to you and your family. You know what, folks? I started out the day thinking that I was going to talk about the fact that it just doesn't seem like it's the holiday season to me. How about you, Matt Blaze? Does it seem like it's the holidays, Christmas, Hanukkah, and so on to you?
You know, it does, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
On my way here, I listen, as a Jew, to Christmas music.
Ah.
So And I drive up the Parkway, and they always have some display at the PNC Bank Arts Center in New Jersey that you drive through and lights and the whole thing, so I kind of can see that from the road.
Was that before you left DMS's house or after?
That was before. I'm on my way here, not on my way back. So I put on Christmas music purposely.
Okay.
I watch Christmas movies purposely to make it feel like the holidays, because if I didn't, then it would just feel like any other day.
Yeah, normally I'm in the mood, but it just seems like something's different.
Right, and you know what? And I felt that, and I was like, I got to put on some traditional Christmas music, because they got the new music.
Right.
I need the old school traditional Christmas songs. So I will put that on, and I will listen to those, and then that gets me like, wow, it's Christmas time. I love the holiday time of year.
Well, happy holidays to you and your family, and I hope your dog is well, and and so on. And folks, I'll say it's been a busy news night. I'm back 3 p.m. Eastern.
Thanks for listening to The Dominic Carter Show. You can hear The Dominic Carter Show weekdays at 3 p.m. and Monday through Thursday at midnight and Sunday starting at 11 p.m. on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to The Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.